How well do you know your process? I mean, artists talk about this all the time. My process, my process. But how well do you really know your process? That's what we're talking about today because it can save you time and money. When we talk about process, I'm not actually talking about, these are the paints I use and this is the order I go in. I'm really talking about your natural flow. I work in burst mode, so I tend to get like a zillion of these types of drawings done in a couple of weeks. I just work in that mode. And what that means is I need to be prepared to have those materials available to me. Once I realize, oh, this might be something I want to do, the very next thing I do is I look at the sales. And so for these types of drawings, what happened is very next week, the pads of the watercolor paper went on sale. And it was really interesting. I went there knowing they were on sale and I had coupons and I had the whole bit set, right? But then something funny happened while I was there. They weren't just on sale. They were trying to clear out all of the tablets that were of a lower price, and that's why they were on sale. So as I looked through all of the different tablets for the different sizes of paper I wanted, I of course realized the price difference on the very same sizes ranged from 50 cents all the way up to $1. So I bought out all of the lower priced tablets of the sizes I wanted. In addition, I got them on sale. All in all that day, I ended up saving about $80 on paper. Now, because I know my process and I know how I can get a little bit obsessive when I start a project, I knew that I would be able to use all of that paper up. And indeed, I have. I'm actually out of this paper now and it's kind of heartbreaking. I thought I bought enough, I didn't. But I saved all kinds of money, and here's the other thing, I saved a lot of time because I didn't run out in like mid-process. I have over 80 of these drawings done, and that's a really cool thing. I have 80 of them done and I did it in one trip to the store. The only real problem I ran into during this is that I didn't buy enough boxes of Sharpies. Okay, who knew how long boxes of Sharpies were going to last? But I have since resolved that. Now, this is something about my process. I know I'm obsessive. I know I'm going to go through the supplies. And I know that when I'm in the middle of doing projects like this, I really don't want to have to run out to the art supply store. And I also really try not to necessarily order online because I like to support local. Think about this for a minute. An artist is just a local business. And so if we're not supporting our local businesses, maybe we're not going to get supported. Whereas when I go out and support our local businesses and we talk about these things, I help myself gain a little bit of a following. I save money and I save time because I'm not running out to the store mid-process. There's lots of things about my process that I can actually use to save me time and save me money. And that is good business. The business term would be called efficiency. And efficiency is something every artist should be looking at. I mean, here's the bottom line. If you're buying framing materials or matting materials, there's usually a price break in bulk. So being able to plan those things out, knowing I've got, 80 of these drawings done and I might want to frame them myself, knowing that means that I can buy the framing materials in bulk and I will save money. The other thing is because I know it and I can plan it out, I'll probably save time. Measure twice, purchase once. These are the types of things that I'm really talking about with your process. It's just like I know in my process that when it comes to the watercolors I use, I'm going to run out of white the quickest. Now that might seem counterintuitive, but here's the thing. The Japanese watercolors do something really cool when you use the white. It kind of swirls and spreads everything out. So I use a lot of white. And I also know that without it, I just can't cope. So if I'm getting to about 2/3 of the white left, that is when I go and I shop the best prices and look for the coupons and buy it. This is, again, something about my process that I understand that allows me to be prepared. And being prepared is a really valuable thing. Now, instead of having to rush right out, I can work it into my schedule in a natural flow. And that's going to save me time and gas and money, and that's a great thing. Rarely buying supplies is cheaper right in the moment. Planning it out is actually a really good idea. And you shouldn't underestimate the value of time. I mean, think about this. You get into that creative flow and you're right there in the moment and the inspiration is there and everything's coming out and then bam, no supplies. You run out, you get the supplies, you come back and the moment is gone. That is not serving your art well, and it is not serving the business of your art well either. Your masterpiece might now become an unfinished piece, and that is not efficiency. There are also things like prep work. How do you do your prep work? Some people like to do each piece start to finish. Other people like to assembly line certain things. I'm one who's a 50-50 split. There are some things I do start to finish, and there are other things that are assembly lined. And knowing that about the work helps to prepare me for the inspiration when it comes. I'm inspired to create X, Y, and Z, and that's kind of like A, B, and C, and therefore my process will be like this. Now it's plotted out and it's planned. That is every single series I go into. That's how I work. And because I do that, I can adjust naturally. One of my biggest things is time is money. And so every minute I can save by creating an assembly line is something I do. One of the other things about my process is I like to look at my work hanging. Can I live with it long term? That's part of the reason why you see everything hanging behind me. I'm multitasking right now. My house is my studio space. This is my video area, but that wall is also part of my process for hanging pieces and living with them. And as I find pieces that I can't live with, I take them down and replace them with others. By doing this, I'm refining my series. I am telling myself or educating myself which pieces belong together, which pieces are actually two separate series. I mean, they may look similar to you, but in all reality, they're not. There are two complete series at work here. This is a part of my process. And how does that help the business? Well, when I separate the series out, it becomes really easy to talk about them. We've talked about this in the foundation videos, is that sometimes the same exact process can have multiple series. And that just helps your viewer. Also, good business, and it makes you accessible. So your process plays into a whole lot more than you think it might. And here's the other thing. If you understand your process and you start posting on social media at different points in that process, you're going to learn which things really resonate with people. See, me posting a picture kind of like this or showing a video of all the different pieces actually was quite popular. More popular, in fact, than a single solitary complete piece. It's amazing how that works, but because I'm understanding my process and I say to myself, here I am at a new step, I can take a quick picture of that and post it when I'm having my social media time. But I can only do that because I'm aware of all those different steps. And that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to take a look at your process and really understand how you can be more efficient and conduct better business and end up with a better result. See, what I have found with every artist that I've worked is that somewhere in their process, they hit obstacles and they hit the same exact obstacle over and over and over. What if you could remove that one problem? I mean, here's a thought for you. In the video process for me, the thing I run into over and over and over is Remy deciding to make her presence known. Now, I've chosen to deal with that by putting a cute picture up of her because, well, she's cute and she's actually more popular than me. That's how I've chosen to deal with it. I'm not going to just simply ignore it. This is not something I can control because it is her home. So how will I address it? That's a part of the process. It's a part of determining it. Here's another thing for you that's good business. What turns people off about video is going to be glare and bad lighting and bad audio. So I do a sound check and I do a light check before any video shooting session because I've learned that the lighting is going to be different almost every single time. So these are the things that the process of what you do can really inform you can really inform you about. And I think they are very important because you're refining rough edges. And as you refine the rough edges, you're going to open up time to take that photo of that spot in the process and maybe post it later, on Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or wherever you want to. That's the reality. As we find ways to remove obstacles, we open up bits of time and we're able to do things with those time. As we look at the process and determine ways that we can save money and be more efficient, we open up more time and money. And that just means more art is going to be created. And that is a beautiful thing. That's really the goal. The goal is to make sure that your process is not actually frustrating you. So the next couple of times you sit down and you're ready to start making art, really take notice of what is annoying, what is the obstacle, where did you waste money, and fix it. I guarantee you, you fix something once, you don't have to deal with it again, and that is a beautiful thing.